Welcome to Here to Serve, a United Regional podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Graves. My favorite part of being the Director of Patient Experience at United Regional is the incredible people that I meet and work with on a daily basis, and I want you to meet them too. Join us to meet the people behind the badge and to highlight those who are here to serve. Well, good morning, Charity, and welcome to the Here to Serve podcast. It's an honor to have you today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So let's just, at the beginning, just find out who you are and what your role is at United Regional.
So I am our Director for Primary Care Services at United Regional Physician Group. So I have family medicine, internal medicine, and the Care Plus clinic.
Okay, family medicine, internal medicine, and Care Plus.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you guys have had some restructure and things lately, so I'm always trying to keep it straight of who's got what now, so that's good. How long have you been at United Regional?
I just celebrated 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
And you started at the bedside as a nurse, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Was it PCU?
Yep, 8 Center.
8 Center. Okay.
Brand new nurse.
What did you do anything before that for a career before you came to United Regional?
I did. I was a pharmacy tech for about 8 years, and then I was kind of an office manager for a local construction company until I decided to go to school.
What gave you the push into nursing?
Oh gosh, probably, so my middle son, Mason, kind of got us thrown into the healthcare world when we didn't really necessarily want to be there. We found out right before he was born that he only had one kidney.
Oh, geez.
And thought he was going to be in renal failure.
Oh, gosh.
So I had to have him in Fort Worth, and luckily everything was great. He was the biggest baby in the NICU.
Nice.
But the next 6 years of his life was in and out of doctor's offices, procedures, medicine, specialists. We found out real quick Mason wasn't real important to the kidney doctor because he wasn't in renal failure. But as a mom, I didn't want him to get to that point. That was kind of what we'd been told our job was.
Preventative,
do the labs, keep him healthy. When he was 3, he started having kidney stones.
Oh.
And so I was constantly researching how to keep him healthy, how to avoid kidney stones. We would get our labs done here. We had a local pediatrician that was great. But working with a specialist down in Fort Worth, I was always a nurse practitioner that we would talk to and very difficult to get a hold of. And over a couple of years, he was kind of getting worse and worse, and we were getting more worried. And so one day I called the office, and kind of long story short, this nurse practitioner told me if I lived in Fort Worth and got my labs done there, he might be healthier and they could take more care of him.
Yeah.
And hung up on me.
Oh, my God.
And I remember sitting there like, because I live in Wichita Falls, I can't get the care my son needs. Like, that doesn't make sense. His nurse at that time, she had overheard the conversation. She called me right back and she said, "I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sending you your medical records. Go get a second opinion."
Okay. Wow.
And so we did. But in that moment, I'm like, I need to know more. I'm going to have to advocate for my kid. I need to know more. I don't want to be this dumb, ignorant parent. And I'd already kind of been thinking about doing something different.
Okay.
And I just remember in that moment that kind of sealed it for me. I wanted to be able to advocate for my family and know more. And I signed up for nursing school, I think, a week later.
Where did you, were you local here?
I went to Vernon.
Vernon? Okay. Awesome. Well, what a great reason.
Yeah.
And didn't plan on going here yet, but this is going to tie in big time to, I know, some of what we're going to talk about today is, to be told, well, if you lived in Fort Worth or Dallas, then you could, your son would probably be healthier. Like, man, that is just so upsetting, travesty. And one of the things that drives us is our patients should be able to get the care they need here. And you've lived it. So I know that's got to drive you. You've lived multiple times, I think, throughout your life of having to go back and forth for care. And so you've got a personal tie-in to go, we want our people to be able to stay here.
Yeah, we want to be, and we can. We have everything we need here. Obviously some of the pediatric stuff you might have to go out of town for.
Yeah.
But that's not all it's cracked up to be. You know, we have great services and resources here.
How's your son now?
Oh, he is 23, healthy.
Thriving.
We got that second opinion. He never had another kidney stone. We just needed someone to listen to us.
Yeah.
He's great, big, healthy.
I love it.
Great guy. Yeah.
And you went to nursing school, and so now you knew the system moving forward too.
I
right?
did.
That helps.
I did. I knew what to advocate for, knew what to ask for.
Yeah.
And knew how to teach other people how to ask questions and not be afraid to speak up and ask your doctor or the nurses for the help that you need.
Well, and it worked out perfect too. Worked out well for me because you were a PCU nurse. How many years did you do that?
Almost 3.
3 years. And I was over the patient advocacy department at the time, and we needed another person. So you came and worked in the patient advocacy office after that. And it was great because you had that internal drive of advocating for your son and then for others. And so how many years did you spend in that office? Do you remember?
Almost 3.
Almost 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And then if I recall from there, you went out to URPG, but what, I don't remember which position you took at URPG.
I was the practice manager for Care Plus.
Okay. Care Plus practice manager. And I'm still not over that. I'm still bitter about,
I knew that was going to come up.
Yeah. I'm still bitter about Johnny and Michael and Maria stealing one of our advocates away. I totally kidding on that, all in good fun, and we were happy to see you get to grow, of course. And then from there, Care Plus. Tell me about that role. What did that look like? How long were you there?
So Care Plus, when I first started in Care Plus, we were 5 days a week, and I think the first thing Johnny said was, "Charity, go get it 7 days a week. We need to offer more access." And so we got that done pretty quick, and then we only had 2 providers. We quickly grew to I think 4 or 5. A couple of years down the line, I shifted over and took on family med and internal med, and then kind of just grew that for a little bit. And then COVID hit, and of course, all the things we did at URPG for primary care through that. And then I guess I've been in the director role for almost 3 years now.
Yeah, so you've been director for almost 3 years. You're at a 3-year.
I am a 3-year person. I didn't notice that, but yeah, I'm like, what's next?
That's funny. Well, you can't leave, first of all.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, the Care Plus going from 5 to 7 days, that was one of those things that was huge for our community.
Yeah.
And when I say for our community, I also mean just for my family.
Yeah.
Because we use Care Plus like crazy, right? My family uses Care Plus so much. Johnny and I talked about this when he was on here, but I think Care Plus and now Ortho Express are some of the most consumer centric things that we have, because it's like you can get quick, easy access most of the time, same day, and for sure if it's e-visit, like within minutes, you've got a visit. I can do drive-through testing. It's such a blessing for my family. We use it like crazy. And so to go from having that 5 days a week, because I can tell you with having 3 kids, they never get sick at a convenient time, Monday through Friday.
Yes.
They always get
6:55 Saturday night.
That's exactly right. It's going to be like, it's weird time, and it's like if you got maybe a pediatrician on call who can only do so much, and you got the emergency department, right? And that's your choices. Having the Care Plus was a total game changer for us, and so going from 5 to 7 days a week and expanding those hours, and it's just incredible. So. Okay. So now, director, you guys, in a very similar route of Johnny says, "Hey, we're at 5 days a week. I'm gonna get you 7 days a week." You had another similar experience, I believe, with access at primary care, right? So talk to me about, I don't know, was it a year? Maybe when Corey got here, that's the time frame in my mind. So we're looking at just about a year, maybe a year and a half. How far out, if I'm a new patient and I move to the community, or maybe I'm at a different facility and I say, I want a doctor at URPG, I want to establish primary care, how long would it take me from making that first phone call to getting in to see that doctor at that time?
If you had called in March of last year at URPG for family med, you would have been told there was no internal med access.
Okay.
For family med, you would have been told 18 months.
18 months.
18 months for a new patient appointment.
Wow. So imagine moving, and I think this is what happened to Corey, right? Our CEO moved to the community and goes, "Hey, I need to establish for the doctor." They're like, "Hey, we'll get you in
I see you next year.
I hope that for the next 18 months, your health is okay, because we'll see you in 18 months. And it's not because we don't want to see you. It's not because we don't care about you.
We didn't have
literally
capacity.
did not. We were completely full at capacity to be able to do that. And so I don't know if people realize just how big of a problem that is. Let's talk about, to enunciate why that's such a problem, let's talk about why is primary care so important? Like if I go, why? Because we're, as an advocate office, how many times a patient calls and I go, "Hey, who's your primary doctor?" And they go, "I don't have one."
Right.
And I go, "First thing we got to do is get you a primary doctor." Let's talk about why. Why is that such a big deal?
Your primary care is kind of the hub of your healthcare. They're going to be the hub of the wheel of everything. A lot of things, like if you need a referral to a specialist, most times your insurance requires PCP referral. Even a healthy person needs that primary care just to have an established relationship, check in once or twice a year, doing your labs to make sure everything looks okay. Just because when or if a catastrophe happens, you're going to need that PCP to direct where you need to go and get into the doors that you're going to need to get through.
No, you're exactly right. And the preventative things too, right?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the huge things in healthcare that we try to push is if we don't want to be sick care, right? We want to be healthcare.
Exactly.
Your PCP, the emergency department is sick care. Care Plus is sick care, right? Something's wrong with you and you're coming in. With primary care, you don't have to have anything wrong with you. It is establishing a relationship. And then they're going to say, hey, here's the things we need to do proactively to keep you healthy, make sure you stay healthy. And not only, I love I'm with Dr. Russell, but one of his things is not just keep you healthy, but how do you how do we get you thriving? How do we make you better than you are and you feeling your best, right? Proactively feeling good. And so I think that's so important because I think there's so many people that misunderstand the purpose of Care Plus in the emergency department. If you are using Care Plus or the emergency department as your primary care, you are going to be disappointed.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
If you come into the emergency department, they are going to treat whatever is acute. And I say acutely, that's a term we use in healthcare, but let me say it maybe for a non-healthcare person, whatever is emergently wrong with you.
In that moment.
In that moment, whatever is emergently wrong, they're going to fix that thing. They may not even fix it. They may just get it to a point where it is safe for you to go home.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. And then you are going to be referred to your primary care or an appropriate specialist at that time. And if you don't have a primary care who knows you, who knows your history, and then also I think just as importantly that you trust.
Absolutely.
I need to get to know this. I can see an emergency department doctor and go, hey, I feel pretty good about this guy or gal, right? But I don't know them. I've met them for 30 minutes. If it's my primary doctor and I've established, I trust that person with my life because over the last few years we've gotten to know each other. That they know me, I know them, I know their family, my family. You've got that trust and rapport. And so I'm making a big deal about this, but it's for a reason. It's that if you don't have a PCP, a primary care provider, you need one because they are, you said it well, the hub. And then when something does go wrong, you've got that person that you trust, that knows you, that can help guide you and help keep you healthy. And so if it's an 18-month wait to get that person, that's very disheartening, right?
It was not something we were proud of. But,
And if you're already in that, so many people don't call till they're in a crisis.
Exactly.
Now I'm in a healthcare crisis and I need a PCP and we go, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So thank God it's not there anymore.
Oh, it is so much better now.
Where are we at now?
Oh, we're sitting about 50 days.
50 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe 2 months, sometime sooner.
So much better, right?
Yes, so much better, and it's just going to get better.
You guys are still working and bringing that down, but 18 months to 50 days is a whole different ball game. I know a lot went into that over the last year. Talk to me about what you guys did and what are the challenges. Maybe let's start there. Why was it 18 months? What were the challenges? Right.
So 18 months. So we had a few providers leave the community. Had a couple of providers that maybe just weren't the good fit. And what happens when a provider leaves is they leave a panel of 1,500 to 2,000 patients that we reabsorbed within our existing group.
Yeah.
And so that's what really cut ties for the new patients. We try to take care of the ones that were within the group first. But with recruiting, primary care access across the nation is difficult.
It's already tough. Yeah.
Finding a primary care physician to practice is just, there's not that many out there anymore. And then getting them to come to Wichita Falls. And they're like, what is Wichita Falls? Where's Wichita Falls, Texas? And so that was probably the difficult part, was getting our name out there, letting them know who we were, and figuring out how to get them to want to come to our community.
Yeah. So. Well, yeah, if you think about it, most providers, if they're not from here, right, which is one of the things we've focused on is like, hey, well, we like homegrown folks. But if they're not from here, if you were born and raised in, I don't know, Illinois or something,
you have no clue where Wichita Falls,
you've never
Texas
heard of Wichita
is.
Falls,
That's
Texas, right? It's never, most people haven't. And so they're not graduating going, where I'm going to go as soon as I get out of school? I'm going to go to Wichita Falls. No, it's not on their radar. But if we can let them see us and they come to visit and they see what we have to offer and the community, and that's when they'll come and say. So you guys had to do a lot of work of getting out there.
We
and
really amped up our recruiting. Did so many interviews last year. I feel like I became a salesman, man.
Yeah.
I was selling URPG, selling Wichita Falls, selling our team. And Natalie and Johnny and I did so many interviews. And we would do a Teams interview, and then if we felt like it was a good fit, we would bring them in, and they would come in and tour the community, tour our buildings, but ultimately we also set them up. We pretty much do peer interviews for our physicians, just like we do with our nurses. My physicians choose the team. It's not administration chosen.
Right.
So we bring them in, and they lunch, supper, spend some time with the existing physicians, and then that's how we pick who joins the team. So
I love that, Charity. And the only thing worse than not having a doctor would be having the wrong doctor.
Exactly. And I will tell you, Ryan, there were times we interviewed people with an 18-month wait list that we passed on.
Right.
And that's hard, but ultimately, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it had to be the right fit for the community, for the team, for our patients. So we weren't just going to fill a spot.
No, I'm so grateful for that, because once you have the wrong person here, it's a whole nother plethora of problems we don't have to get into. And that's not that just way for physicians. It's it's anybody. That's why when you're hiring, you have to do your due diligence and do your best to get the right people and the right fit.
Absolutely.
But the stakes are very high with a provider.
For sure.
It's people's lives.
It is.
And it's very important. So thank you guys for all the work you did on that. To bring that down. So anything else other than just the big thing was just recruiting?
Recruitment, and then kind of what we did, because we were still trying to take new patients last year. So we did a lot of in-house things. What could we do to take off of the physicians so they could potentially see more, the ones that maybe didn't have capacity at the time. And one of the things a lot of people don't know about primary care is there's a lot of administrative burden. When I talk about the PCP being the hub, they're literally the center of each patient's healthcare. And there is tons of paperwork that goes with that, tons of faxes, labs, referrals. There's just so much coming at them at once. And so we really dived in internally. So what could we take off of their plate to do for them that didn't have to be done by the physicians so they could see more patients? So we implemented things like nurse-led Medicare wellness visits, because those can be done by a registered nurse. And so we have an RN that does some of our Medicare wellness visits for the patients. They love her.
Nice.
It's worked out really well.
Nice.
But that freed up, like for Dr. Russell and some of the other patients, to see more same-day patients or new patients. And so that opened up some access. We also brought in additional team members to what we call the in-basket in healthcare. That's where all the stuff comes, the patient messages and things like that. And so their job is to strictly triage that for the provider so they can spend less time in their basket and more time. And that freed up one of our physicians to open her panel again and start seeing new patients. So as much as we could do internally to support the existing providers. So let me take this off your plate, you go see more patients. That's
make
really
it more
what
efficient.
we focused on.
That makes sense. And I noticed too, you guys have it's I don't want to give the wrong impression. Somebody out there hears us and goes, oh cool, I can just schedule my doc anytime I want. But you guys do have self-scheduling, right? And that's worked out for me several times.
Love
where
the self-scheduling.
It's so nice if I want to see my provider and maybe I've got a sore throat or whatever, I always check. Because instead of going to Care Plus, my doctor might actually be open today at 1 o'clock. And I've had more than a few times I was able to pop in and see my doctor on the same day. Like there's nowhere out there you can do that. That you're going to see your primary care doctor on the same day visit. Like that just doesn't really exist in today's world. I know, back in the good old days or whatever. But in today's healthcare space,
not as often, but it still exists.
It still exists. It's really cool. And especially if you're depending on who your provider is, many of them will have nurse practitioners or mid-levels as well, and so many times you can see one of those folks and you get to know them as well. Like for me it's David, right? I've gotten to know David just as much as I've gotten to know my doctor, because he works with him, and so it's a great system that takes healthcare's the nature of the beast in today's world is extremely complex. and what you guys are doing to make the provider more accessible in a much faster way is well, it's life-changing for sure. And it's what's right for the community. So you mentioned, or anything else before I move on from that? Any other things? That was the main. So it sounds like the two big things were one, we just got really heavy on recruiting, right?
Heavy on recruiting,
and then also did a lot of work to just make it more efficient and give patients faster access and doctors more time at the bedside.
And probably the other thing we really focused on this last year too was leaning in on training advanced practice providers. That's another big deal we worked on last year. Our community. We're fortunate to have a lot of advanced practice providers, but they're all new.
Right.
And so, there's a big learning curve coming out of school. And so we really leaned into and developed a mentorship for new APPs.
Okay.
And we did that in family medicine and Care Plus.
What's that look like?
Yeah, so they're paired with another existing advanced practice provider who's very experienced, and that's their person. And they work side by side, and that experienced advanced practice provider kind of determines when they're ready to turn them loose and start seeing a couple of patients here and a couple here. And we've seen just having them have that person to go to and right down the hall, their confidence and skill set just escalates a lot more fast.
That makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense that they're
definitely something we'll continue to do.
Yeah, reminds me of the nurse intern program. On the nursing side of it is we're seeing these nurses come along so much faster, and I'm always a little green with envy because I'm like, that was not my experience.
Didn't happen. No, sir, it did not.
My experience long ago, but they've done a good job of going, hey, we can make this nursing, we can get nurses up to speed and make better nurses faster by giving them basically.
That's pretty much what we're doing there. We want them to feel confident and comfortable to practice medicine and have a person. So.
And and again, when you add that mid-level, it extends the amount of patients we can see and extends the provider. So it's a great thing. Awesome. Well, you said you think that number is only going to get better. So what's that look like? What are you excited about?
So it's just going to get better. Dr. Page joined us this week. He started seeing new patients yesterday.
I'm excited about him.
Yes.
I just met him very briefly.
Yeah, he's great.
Maybe he'll see this. I haven't got to actually shake his hand, and I just passed by an orientation and saw a picture of him. And I told Tony, who was doing orientation, I said, "Man, he's got a mighty beard. That's a beard right there. It's a man's beard." And then Tony hung out with him for a little bit and goes, "Man, he was a really great guy." I'm like, "Dude, if he's got a great personality with that beard, the sky's the limit. He's gonna do great." So I'm excited about it.
Poor guy. We had his welcome lunch the other day, and I think everybody complimented him more on his beard than welcoming him to Wichita Falls. So
it's a good beard.
Yeah, but he's a great addition to our team. But I'm going to onboard 4 family med and 1 internal med before the end of the year.
Incredible.
So
okay,
that lead time's going to look amazing by the end of the year.
Yeah. How many? I know that there's a curve where we ramp them up. They don't take a full patient load day one, right? But on average, what is a PCP? How many patients are they seeing?
Every one of them is different. It's one of the things we really, with recruitment, was physician autonomy. You can be as busy as you want.
Right.
Or if it's more lifestyle balance.
Right.
If you want to slow down a little bit, you can.
Sure.
We just build the schedule.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
For them. Yeah. But on average, probably 16 to 20 a day.
A day? So what's that come out? I'm terrible at math. What's that come out to? Like how many? How many patients does somebody end up like owning? Like, hey, this doctor has this many patients.
Oh gosh, it could be anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000.
Okay.
On a panel, is what we call it, panel size.
So I guess that's where I was going with this is. For every doctor we bring in, that's 1,500 on average, right?
Yeah.
1,500
plus, yes.
More patients in the community that has access. And you're bringing on how many more? 5 more doctors? Okay, so that's a big number. Like that's really cool. Every time we bring somebody on, that's 1,500 more people in our community that have a primary care doctor that have access to it. So
and we're still recruiting. We've already signed contracts for next year. So we'll keep recruiting.
It's awesome. And I think it's worth saying, Johnny and I talked about this a good bit when he was here, but I just want to reiterate. I know a lot of people think, man, I bet every time you bring a physician on, you're just padding your bottom line by bringing these doctors on. And what people don't understand is like, you gotta understand, bringing on doctors doesn't make us money, right? And sometimes it costs us money.
So family medicine doesn't make money.
It's not a big money
it's
maker,
not about
right?
The money.
This is truly because the community needs it, right? And I'm not saying we don't try to make money with United Regional. We're not for profit, but we need to make money to stay in business, right? So I'm not trying to say we don't try to make money, but the cynic would go, oh, well, of course you want to bring more doctors and you want to make money. Bringing in doctors doesn't make us money. By the time we do all the things we need to do, we're happy if we could break even. But we do this because if we don't bring in primary care doctors, it hurts the community. We lose. Not only do we lose patients, but we just literally lose community members. People will move. They will leave the community if they can't get the care they need. As the person told you, if you just move up here, we could take better care of your son. There's a lot of people that went, okay, I'll just move, right? You said, no, I'm going to go to nursing school. But a lot of people would have just gone, oh, I guess I got to move, right? That is a real thing when you do that. So it's so important to the health of this community that you guys are doing what you're doing. So
and not even just this community. I mean, you think about all the rural communities surrounding us. We serve a big circle.
So many around us.
We have people driving from Bowie and Oklahoma, all over the place looking for primary care access.
Yeah, so. I think our service area is bigger than some states. And it's incredible the amount of people that drive to us and depend on us. And so, thank you and your team. And I know healthcare is hard sometimes, right? There's certain days where you're like, what are we doing? I hope your team sees this to know, like, gosh, you guys are making a huge difference, like, for this community. I know sometimes in the micro level, in the middle of it, you don't always feel that, but in the big picture, huge difference being made here. So thank you and your team and for all you guys are doing. So
we have a great team. So they're great people.
Yeah, so. Great. URPG's got it going on. Anything you want to share before we wrap up today?
No, not that I can think of. Okay. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. It's awesome to have you. Thank you for all you do for the organization, and been cool to get to talk to you and cool to catch up.
Yeah, good to see you again.